New Year's is coming up, and we are going to be celebrating it with a sparkling apple grape cider cupcake. So let's get started. All right, you're going to need your favorite cake mix. So you're going to use a white cake with this. It will show up much better with the sparkling grape apple cider. Sparkling grape apple cider, buttercream icing. You're going to need a cupcake pan. You're also going to need the liners for the cupcakes. So let's get started. So this is all mixed up without the juice, but instead of using water, what we're going to use is the sparkling apple grape cider. I'm going to pour that right in there. And then we're just going to stir that up. All right, and so once we stir that all up and get it where it's evenly distributed with the fluid, we're going to go to our next step. You see that's all mixed up very nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour that into a measuring cup, and we're just going to scrape that all in there. And then we're going to use that to put into our cupcake pan. Okay, we're also going to be using some melting white chocolate. We're going to be using some of our sprinkles here. I just got these at the grocery store, so it just gives you an idea because we want it really festive and celebrating. Okay, so we have our batter right there, and we're just going to pour it in. So we're going to pour it in really carefully, and you pour it in for about halfway, and then just slightly shake it so you can go on to the next one. And we're just going to keep on going until that is all full. I do one more there. Alrighty. Once that's all nice and full, if you have any extra batter, you just try to equal out where all the cupcakes are the same amount. And then once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and put that in the oven. So we've melted our white chocolate, and we are just going to go ahead and just do 3 circles like that. Now we're going to do two of those at a time. And then we're going to take our sprinkles and just go over it like that, so it looks a little more festive. Now you just need to work quickly with this, actually, because white chocolate does, become solid pretty quickly after it's melted. And the great thing about is these extra sprinkles here, you can go ahead and put those back or into a cookie or something like that. Okay, and we're just basically just doing little circles. And then we're sprinkling this. All right, it's time to get our cupcakes out, and then we'll show you what that looks like. Before we get our cupcakes out, you do want to do extra of these because in case any break. So basically just a little heads up, you never know. And also another tip, after you're done with these, stick them in the freezer so they dry faster. All right, this is our cupcake after it's baked. And what we're going to do is I'm using a reusable bag. This is a large shell tip, but you don't necessarily have to use a shell tip. You can also use a compostable bag and just cut the tip. And I showed you how to fold those before. And then we're just going to go ahead and circle around and go up to the top like that. Let me show you another one. All right, we're going to do the same thing there. We're just going to go and circle around, squeeze, and let go. And now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and take our sprinkles that we had earlier, and then we're just going to go ahead and just put that right on the top. You want to do this while the icing is still soft after you've just done that, because once the icing's set, it's hard to get a sprinkle on there. And we're going to go ahead and do the other one also. So let me put that right there and just put our sprinkles right there on the top. And it's good to do this on a plate so it doesn't get all over your table. So once we do that, we go back to our white chocolate that we've done. You see it has like a nice sparkles with it. Nice, colorful. Okay, we're going to put one right there. And then we're going to put one right there. So it looks very festive. So let me show you what the finished product looks like. All right, and this is what the finished product looks like. And you can see we have our leftover sparkling apple grape cider there. And we just put that on a cup, put the lid on it so it still stays, has the bubbles still. And you can serve that to your guests. And this is what it looks like. It's very festive, very shows celebration. And that's the time of year when a new year comes. You want to celebrate a new year. So I want to thank you very much for watching. Check out some of our other videos, and I want to wish you a happy new year.